So today we're talking through retirement income. And Allison, you wrote a post on this a little while back, and we really enjoyed the example you used to describe how people think through this. So you want to walk through that a little bit to jump us off here?
Yeah, and as Chad knows, almost everything in life I can relate back to a Seinfeld episode. And I always think of this with retirement income. Jerry's Nana on the show, there were several conversations about how Nana is living on a very fixed income and she couldn't afford to do certain things. This leads to a moment with her making a $1,500 donation to a charity. That leads to Uncle Leo saying, "Stop the show" on a telethon because she can't afford to make a $1,500 donation. She's on a very fixed income. So this made me think about, what is your flexibility in your retirement income strategy? Are you on a very fixed income and you can only afford certain things? Or do you have the flexibility to make a donation to your favorite charity or to that run that your grandchild is participating in? Or even to go on an extra vacation. Maybe the family is planning a week at the beach and you've already spent your allocated money for vacation this year. Can you do that? So we want to think about building that flexibility into your retirement income strategy. Traditionally, retirement is thought of as a three-legged stool. So pension, Social Security, and personal savings. The pension income is going away for a lot of people. So we're much more reliant on our personal savings to meet that gap. And you think about what are those stop the show moments that might happen in your life that would lead you to only having those fixed income sources of pension and Social Security if you use up that personal savings for other purposes. So Chad, what are some of the concerns that you see clients having around this? And what are some of the things that you see that become a stop the show moment for clients?
The big picture view, I feel, is always that confusion, stress, and uncertainty in the transition that people make from accumulating, saving money in their accounts to where they're going to have to now start to take money out. Right. And sometimes there's always the fear. I guess the big one, of course, is always taxes. Right. People are concerned they're going to have to pay too much in taxes, and taxes is going to eat into the money that they've saved through the years. And then that they're going to have to move into the principal, right, of the money they've saved, and Social Security and or a pension may not be enough. That three-legged stool, of course, you mentioned that pension, it's like termites have been eating up that piece of the stool, right? Because it's not going to likely be there for most people anymore with that number declining of so many companies. Just people working in government sometimes in the school systems may still have some pensions, but that is waning. So people are going to have to or be forced to save more on their own. I guess above that, the biggest fear would be the unsustainable spending, right? They feel like they're going to spend. And that's where it comes back to financial planning, right? And Allison, we walk through plans and scenarios with people to understand how much they should be needing from their accounts. And then we need to structure an allocation for them to make sure that money is going to be there over the short run. And they don't have to worry as much about what's going on in their stock investments, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to put you in a position where you need to sell stocks to meet your cash flow needs when prices have fallen. So for example, in March of 2020, if you needed cash at that time and your portfolio was 100% stocks, unfortunately, you're selling stocks when prices are low. And then that means you're missing out on the recovery that we've seen happen over the past year and a half. So we want to put you in a position where money that we anticipate that you're going to need in the near term is already safe and it's allocated for that purpose, so that you don't have to worry so much about a stock market crash.
So what are some other concerns there in our list that we have?
Yeah, the spend rate is a big one. So we want to make sure we put some guardrails in place so kind of what are the lower and upper limits of that spending in retirement, and when are you pushing it and you need to dial it down? Or on the flip side of this, there's also people who still have a pension, still have Social Security, and that covers almost all of their monthly and annual expense needs, and what they've saved continues to accumulate. So there's also the flip side where maybe you could spend more of that personal savings component. But some of the other ones that we see too are, an extended long-term care scenario for either you, your spouse, or one we're seeing more frequently is even your parents. So we're seeing a lot of clients come in and say, well, my mom is in assisted living. She's almost run out of her personal savings. Myself and my siblings are going to need to start making up the difference. So that's one we're seeing a little bit more frequently right now. There's always a potential for a death of a spouse or other loved one. Does that mean that your Social Security income goes down or your pension income goes down? Boomerang children. We see this more too with kids who are moving back in with mom and dad, or the potential to need to support those children, grandchildren, or other family members financially. Those could be stop the show moments where you really need to reevaluate that financial plan and see what changes might need to happen. And then, of course, potential health changes as well. These are all things that you kind of want to think about at the forefront of if they might be things that you need to plan for, and then build those scenarios into that financial plan so you know what that would look like if those situations come to pass.
Yeah. If you're 65 today, the reality is, and you're married or in a relationship, there's a near 50% chance that one of you is going to live to age 90. And that is something that we need to plan for in whatever way that may be, right? If you feel like you don't have enough, or if you're taking too much risk, we need to make some adjustments so that you're more comfortable and ideally can get to that point. And if you're on the other side, like Allison was talking about, that's the more fortunate side. And sometimes it can be a big hurdle for people to actually spend more. So that is a conversation, or many conversations, that we'll have through the years to help people find better ways to enjoy their wealth, but also maybe it's a situation where legacy comes into the conversation at that point, and understanding how you want to do that and being purposeful and strategic about making sure the money goes where you want it to go. So, as always, a lot of things to consider in financial planning. It's a very interesting and intriguing field that continues to grow, and we love talking with people about these topics. Allison, thanks for writing something, getting your thoughts down about this particular question that we're getting. And as you know, we have many other questions that we've addressed on our channel that you can see by clicking in any of the other videos below. You can also check out our podcast, where we've had nearly 150 episodes now on different topics. If you don't want to miss our next video, you can subscribe, and we look forward to talking to you again in 2 weeks.